I'm Lee Partridge and welcome back to Col UTV. It's our match day show where we take on Newport County here at the JobServe Community Stadium, and Ben Garner will be looking to get his first win under his belt as our head coach this afternoon. We'll hear from him shortly, as well as a look back at a previous encounter with the Exiles. But to kick things off, let's get the thoughts ahead of today's game from Matt J.
It goes without saying, I guess, you want to get these points on the board as soon as possible and just get everything sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been going on for a little while now. We've obviously been desperate for the points. We've actually picked up, two okay results. We really felt like on Saturday we were the better side and really should have won that game, given the chances that we had. But yeah, we're under no illusion that we need a win. Unfortunately at the moment we're sort of looking behind us and hoping that no one catches us. But I think if we, obviously get a win on Saturday and back that up in the next couple of games with another win, touch wood, we'll probably be okay. So, but look, I think the performances have been a lot better since the new gaffer's come in. And I think that all of us players have got a much clearer understanding of how we can win games and how he wants us to play. So. I think there's enough games for us before the end of the season to get us where we want to be.
You've had two head coaches here now yourself. There's been three here this season in total, but you've had two here yourself, and both clearly go about things a different way, so it does take time to adjust.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, I was brought here under Matt Bloomfield, and obviously we know what's happened there, and he was great. But yeah, the new manager's come in and sort of probably more suited to my sort of style of play, and he's come in and, like I said, given us all a clear understanding of how he wants us to play and where he wants to get us moving forward. And I've really been enjoying my time with him. He's certainly got some really good ideas, and like I said, the performances have been pretty good recently. So I think that, like I said, there's enough games for us to be able to showcase to turn these good performances into some wins.
Defensively, it's been fine. It's been okay. As you say, the performances you maybe deserve more, but goal scoring is an issue at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and we're all liable for that. I mean, I think we've had the chances, haven't we? A couple last week for Fred. One or two for me here and there. John. We're all sort of in the right places. We just need to find the back of the net, and I think it's one of those things that once one or two go in, then all of a sudden the floodgates start opening, and we're all sort of, hopefully we're looking back going, God, that was just a bit of a blip. So fingers crossed we can all start contributing and find some goals and get some wins.
Newport this Saturday, funny team, win games you don't expect them to win, then don't do maybe so well against teams you'd expect them to do against, but that's this division all the way down, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly played against Newport enough times, and we all would have played up against Newport before, and they're a tough team. Know what they are. They sort of always seem to be where they are, and they're very good at what they do. So look, we're under no illusion there's going to be a tough game, but like I said, building on the two recent performances, coming from goals behind again shows real character of the group. And look, I think that we've made it very clear that this week that we're going to try our very, very best not to go behind and not give them something to sort of hold on to, because it's very difficult to break teams down when they're sort of 1-0 up away from home. So hopefully we don't give Newport a head start this weekend.
Because you have been actually good, credit to you, in chasing games when you've had to. I mean, almost sort of hemming teams in and pinning them back, just with that, building that momentum. That's the key, I guess, isn't it? You want that from minute one.
Yeah, of course, and we don't. And actually, we've started games pretty well. I mean, I know we conceded early last week, but we have started games okay. But we just seem to concede at bad times, and it's always an uphill battle from there. You can actually see what teams do when they come here and score. They just sit back, and it makes it very, very difficult. And all of a sudden, you've got to try and score that perfect goal that's been hard to come by at the moment.
From a personal point of view, how you found it here, is it fair to say that maybe you haven't started as many games you would have hoped to have done?
Yeah, I mean, it's been difficult because the change of manager. We've obviously had this is the third sort of manager that I've had here, even with the interim, and it's been difficult. We are fighting for our lives really at the moment, and it's, I'm probably one of those players that people would see that maybe could come out of the team to sort of go a bit more direct or a bit more basic in inverted commas, but I want to play as many games as I can. I feel like I can affect the team. I feel like my performances coming off the bench the last 2 games have been pretty good, and I've been setting up some chances. I feel really involved. So I want to play as many games as I can. I really feel like I can help the team get to where we want to be.
Because you are one of those players, as you say, maybe not a luxury player, but a player who's maybe seen can play a certain way, maybe not the other way. But it seems to me, looking from the outside in, you can fit in almost anywhere within this team.
Yeah, and I think that's why the manager's been so good for me, because he says to me that he backs my ability completely. I mean, the likes of Noah and Arthur and even Alex Newby are players that have not great stature and not great size, and he sort of backs those players, and I'm grateful for that, and I want to showcase what I can do. And I think it won't be long before I start putting the ball in the back of the net, and then you sort of you can't not be selected. So that's where I want to get to.
Matt is settling in well and hoping to get on the score sheet later this afternoon. And you can see if he's made the starting 11 over on our socials and the website with all the team news there. We'll hear from the man who's chosen the starting 11 later on. But first, let's have a look back at a previous encounter with the Exiles. And this is going back to October 2019. An absolute cracker there from Ben Stevenson, sandwiched by goals from Ryan Jackson and Courtney Senior. A 3-1 win would do nicely this afternoon for us. And should that be the final result, it will be Ben Garner's first win as the U's head coach. We spoke to him earlier in the week on how the team was preparing for today's game.
We just spoke to Matt Jay, and he says that we need to get the job done as soon as possible, just get the points on the board, get a couple of wins, and just forget about any concerns, because 5 points can be bridged quite quickly, can't it?
Absolutely. We're not being complacent in any way, shape or form. We're very close to winning games over the last few weeks, and I think there's small details and fine margins that are the difference in the games, and we want to get those wins, and we want to get mathematically safe as quickly as we possibly can, so that not that we can relax, but so that we know that we're safe, and then we can start looking ahead and building into what we would want to be a more positive season next year.
Because the last couple of games in particular, you've looked very good when chasing the game and sort of really trying to force the issue. Not to say you haven't started games badly, but when you have to force the issue, you've looked like you've got goals in you.
Yeah, that's been really pleasing. I think we went through some stats with the players earlier in the week, where number of shots on target, the expected goals has been really high compared to the average for the season. So that was pleasing. That was really pleasing last week. It's been quite frustrating because we're starting games well, and then there's just been a moment that has put us behind. So, a refereeing decision at Leyton Orient, and And some sloppy play on our part last week gave us a more difficult task. So we don't want to be going behind, we want to be getting that first goal, but the pleasing side is the quality and the ability to come from behind and earn something from the game in the last 2 weeks is pleasing to see.
And we talk about a lack of goals in 34 goals in 38 league games this season probably tells you all you need to know, but the last couple of games you must be pleased with the number of opportunities that you're creating.
I think if we create as much as we did last Saturday, we should be scoring at least 2-3 goals, at least on what we created. So if we keep doing that, we need to also focus on clean sheet. You know, that's a big priority for Saturday. We've done a lot of work on that this week, and if we can get ahead in games, I think it will suit us better. I think it will make other teams come out at us more, especially at home, and then it'll make us more effective, I believe. So. Yeah, we're pleased with a number of the factors. We're just trying to put together an all-round performance and get that win that will make a big difference. It'll make a big difference to us and it'll give us confidence into the remaining games.
Matt Jay just referenced as well how difficult it is when you do go behind to break teams down. Do you hear that from dugouts? Do you hear that from other technical areas about them sort of trying to almost shut the game down?
I think Stockport did it really well. I think once they went 1-up, they were perfectly happy for 1-0. It was literally, they changed their shape to combat ours, and it was literally a focus on stopping us, making sure that we didn't score. A lot of teams do that. A lot of teams run down the clock and all the dark arts of the game, if you like. That's part and parcel of the game. We have to keep pushing and forcing the tempo, which we've done really well last 2 games. And then you're just hoping that the game is managed in the right way, so that if teams are doing that, no problem, add the time on. You know, if you look in the World Cup where there was 10-12 minutes going on some games, do that. You know, if people want to run the clock down, then punish them the other way. And we can't control that. We have to control what we can do. And like I say, the aim is to get ahead in games, but it's difficult to come back, and we've done that in the last 2 games.
We've seen Newport a couple of times this season against Colchester. We kind of know what they're all about. I mean, tough, rugged, difficult to break down, and maybe a team that's been up there in recent seasons, but the last couple of seasons it's a club that's maybe just sort of living within its means.
They were good last season. They were a strong side, and just sort of fell away towards the end and didn't quite make the playoffs. But I remember playing away at their place last season. It was a really good game. It was a fantastic game. And they've done well since Graham's gone in. He's got them organised, very hard working. Like you say, they all put in a shift for each other, very committed, really effective off set pieces. They're really strong. A lot of their goals have come from their long throw-ins, their set pieces, and they've got threats. You know, they've got threats within the side. So I think we know what type of game it's going to be from how they will play. We know we need to stand up to that, and it's going to be an intense game physically, I would predict. But we also need to try and make the game more the type of game that we want and impose what we want onto the game to make it suit us rather than suit them.
You must be pleased with the last couple of games as well, the impact that your substitutes have made when you've needed the game changing. They've come on and helped to do that.
That's probably been the standout thing for me over these 3-4 weeks, however long it is now, the group mentality and how the lads train. If the lads haven't started games, we do extra work with them in training, and the level of that, the intensity of that, the quality of that has been really high. And the lads coming on are having an impact. A great example, and I actually put in my programme notes that Connor Wood last week didn't make the squad, but he has trained like a beast and has supported the lads. I mean, and that's a great example of what we want. Yes, you're disappointed personally, but you get behind the group, you train hard every day, and that's certainly the culture and environment that we want moving forward.
So there was no injury with Connor last week?
No, it was purely it was a really close call between him and Alamin last week. But whichever one started, I wasn't going to have the other one on the bench, just in terms of wanting attacking changes on the bench. So it was purely a tactical decision last week.
And just to reference what you've spoken to Matt Jay, he obviously came in as a guy who knows what it's like to be successful in this division, but has found starts difficult to come by under both head coaches that he's been under. But you've got a lot of players sort of who can fill that role, haven't you?
We have, and we've got different ways of playing. We've looked at different ways this week in terms of our shape and what we do. And it's trying to find the right balance between getting results first and foremost, what suits the players, and then also what I want to start getting towards and what we want to build as a club now. So we're trying to find a combination of those things, but the ultimate priority is winning games in the short term. So we're picking the teams that we think are right for each game. And also in mind of, similar to last week, I had a team that I saw starting the game and a team that I saw finishing the game, and that'll be the same this week. We're generally using all our subs in the games, and that's been important. And that group mentality will be key between now and the end of the season.
Because clearly with players like him, Noah Chilvers, Simon Ashley, Arthur Reed, you're backing them to go out and express themselves and do what you know they can do and do what they do best.
Yeah, that's definitely come in. I would say week on week, training has improved. I'm seeing more quality. I'm seeing more belief. I'm seeing more confidence within the group. That isn't going to just transfer into games at the moment. That's going to be a gradual process. I'm aware of that, but for me, I want to flood the players with that, and I want to see that on a match day, because I see the talent that's here. I see the ability within the group, and it's a case of sort of smashing that glass ceiling a little bit and letting some of that out without losing defensive structure and organisation. So we're working hard on it. It's definitely improving week on week. I'm really hopeful that will show on Saturday.
Just finally for me, in terms of injuries, is Cole Skuse any closer or not?
He's still progressing well. He's been out on the grass again this week. He's not into team training as yet, but really happy with how he's progressing. Tom Dallason's been out on the grass a little bit this week as well, which is pleasing. All the lads, Kwesi Opai, all the lads that are injured, they're all working really hard to try and get back quickly. They're all desperate to get back involved and help the team as best they can. So, that's good. Tommy Smith was back in training today. So obviously he's been away with New Zealand. He came back into the group. Obviously had a long journey back, but looked fine today. And hopefully we'll see how he is tomorrow, but hopefully he can come back into the squad for the weekend.
I know there were a couple of concerns during the game last week of Connor Hall at one point and Fico Keller at one point as well. They're both okay?
Yeah, they're both fine. The only injury from last week was Osama Ashley, but everyone else is fine.
There you have it. That's all the prep done for this afternoon's game. Once again, you can see the starting 11 over on our socials and on the club website. Let's get out there. Let's get behind the lads. A big 3 points on offer this afternoon. I'll be back on Wednesday evening with all the news from the week. But for now, enjoy the game, and I'll see you on Wednesday. It's goodbye for now.